Congratulations both on the film. I thought it was brilliant. I enjoyed it so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Aaron, this is your directorial debut. Why was Molly's Game the project that made you want to finally sit in the director's chair?
Well, when I was writing it, I didn't know that I'd be directing it. I fell in love with this story really a matter of hours after I met Molly. I'd read her book, but then meeting her was what knocked me out. It turned out that the book was just the very tip of the iceberg of the story. There was much more to it, and moreover, she struck me as a real-life movie heroine, and exactly the kind of hero I like writing about. You know, a hero without a cape, who does the right thing when the wrong thing is much easier, more profitable, safer, that kind of thing. I loved writing it, and then it was the producers who encouraged me to direct it myself. Ordinarily, when I write something, I want the very best director then to direct it. But I felt with this one, as arrogant as it is to say, I felt with this one that I might be the best director to direct it. And it was mostly because I felt so strongly about the fact that it's very easy with this movie to get swamped by the shiny objects in it, by the glamour, the decadence, the money, the poker, the Hollywood bold-faced names, at the expense of that emotional, heroic story that I was feeling at the beginning. And that was the story that I wanted to tell. I wanted to see it all the way to the screen.
And Jessica, Molly is an undeniable force with getting that life that she wanted. How important is it to have those smart, complex females at the forefront of cinema?
Yeah, it's very important to have well-written female characters in cinema. I feel like for the longest time that the characters I was reading in scripts that were coming to me were defined by the men in the story, the relationships that they had. They were there to further the storyline, the man's journey, not defined by what they said or what they did. And so for me, it's really, really important to always play female characters that are well written. And that doesn't mean it has to be a lead part. It can be a supporting character, but you really, as an actor, you really feel the difference between a well-written female character and a stereotype of what that is. And I am hoping that we're really changing that, and kudos to Aaron Sorkin for his directorial debut to really go out there and tell this story. A lot of people have been in the business and have power the way Aaron has. He could have told any story he wanted, and he told this one, and that's what we need right now.
And I read that you love doing a lot of research for your roles. How helpful was it to have Molly herself as a source, and did you identify with her in any way?
It's so helpful to work with the person that you're playing. I mean, if they can give you access to their life, that's like a gold mine. Also, you have to kind of sift through the information, because, you know, at first glance you're seeing an idea of a person, you know, how they want to be portrayed, and you have to go, okay, well, what can I see behind the curtain to find the little insecurities or the little secrets that maybe you feel shy about someone knowing. As an actor, you've got to be a detective and really try to fill out the character that way.
Most of the poker players' names are confidential, but there's a few out there in the public domain. How difficult was it to navigate that part of the filmmaking process?
It was tricky. I knew off the bat that there was no chance that I was going to gossip about anyone. First of all, it's not something I would want to do under any circumstance, but in a movie where the heroine is heroic because she doesn't gossip about these people with a gun pointed to her head, then the movie can't either. So it was a tricky challenge as a writer. What would I do? Would I make up fake movie stars? Here comes the big movie star, Joe Johnson. That would just feel silly. Pixelate their face. shoot over their shoulder. We'll never see their face, just their hands, playing cards with chips. And what I came up with ultimately was, and remember, it's not the filmmakers telling the story, it's Molly telling the story, like the best TED Talk you've ever been to. And what she does is she says, all right, there were these 4 big movie stars at the game, and I'm going to represent them all with this one guy who we're just going to call player X, and that's Michael Cera, who does such a great job in the movie. So, she tells us when you see him, just think 4 movie stars, and it seemed to work.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey